On this week's episode, we're actually going to visit that one night of the year where all crime is legal. That's right, we're going to visit The Purge. With a new movie out and a TV series coming out in the near future, I figured it was time to check out the continuity and the timeline of this series and see if it holds up or if it's going to be a crime. I guess if it's crime, it would be legal. The Purge began back in 2013, and it's been a while since it was this easy because the opening title screen tells us it's 2022. We see a video feed of the first Purge, which was apparently March 17th, 2017. We're told that the Purge is a yearly ritual in which all crime is legal for one night, and this will help reduce crime and stuff. We get another date telling us it's more specifically March 21st, and look, it's that guy from Sinister, and Cersei Lannister. They have a couple of kids, and on Purge night they lock their house down like a panic room, but when their son lets in a stranger, and their daughter's boyfriend takes a shot at dad, things get a little crazy. And then a group of strangers shows up to say, "You're next," but the family says there's no vacancy. They hang out outside while the homeless guy is, I guess, able to hide in the family's home, and they can't find him, which is... their home's not that big, and they know it a lot better than some guy that's never been there before, so... The kids outside hang around all night and end up crashing into the house to get the guy, and I'm not sure why they're so obsessed with killing one homeless guy that they spend their whole night on him. They get in and there's shooting and stalking involved, and none of the separate groups hears the others, which again makes me question how big this freaking house is supposed to be. Anyway, they kill most of the invaders, but Troy Dyer gets died. The daughter kills the leader, and then the neighbors show up and want to kill them for more reasons. Because I guess the premise of this movie is that you're allowed to do anything for one night, you're instantly a psychopath. Side note, let's talk about legalities, because they never bring it up. Never mind the fact that you'd still be held accountable on a social level for your crimes. Anyone who acted on the Purge would likely still be held liable in a civil court. In fact, the backlog of civil cases would pretty much cripple the court systems, because just because it's legal to do something, you're still being negligent if you're injuring another person while doing it. But it's a movie. Handwave. So, the homeless guy saves the family, and they wait out the night, and radio stations play, letting us know that the Purge was very successful, except we really didn't get to see any of it. So the movie was enough of a success that they rushed a sequel into production, and 1 year later, in 2014, we got The Purge, Anarchy. My job is again simplified, as it tells us right away that it's 2023, so we're 1 year later after the first movie, and man, this is going to be an easy timeline, right? Wait for it. And this time we get to leave the house. We made Ava, and Crossbones is here, and so is Omar, and married couple Shane and Liz. We're told that the new founding fathers took power 9 years ago in 2014. We're also told by the radio that this is the 6th annual Purge, which is a bit of a problem. If there was a Purge in 2017, as shown in the first film, that would make this the 7th Purge. 1 in 17, 1 in 18, 1 in 19, 20, 21, 22, and now 23, which would be the 7th. So that's an error. Apparently there was a promotional website a while back that tried to correct this by saying that the 1 in 17 was a trial run, and not the first official Purge, but I couldn't find any trace at the site to source it, but we'll go with it anyway. The Purge begins, and we hear that government officials have immunity. All of our main characters encounter chaos, and how does this help the economy and crime rate for the rest of the year again? This paramilitary group shows up to spray CGI blood everywhere, and Sarge saves Eva, and then encounters Shane and Liz. They all team up, and there's a resistance, and this film is a little more blatant with the underlying theme of the first one, that the Purge is a tool used by the corporate elites to keep the masses in line. There's a string of calamities, and Shane is shot and killed right before the homeless guy from the first film shows up as part of the resistance. Liz joins them, and the sergeant is shot by Big Daddy, who reveals that the government sends out soldiers to kill the lower class because the Purge itself doesn't kill enough of them. Big Daddy's killed, and the Purge ends, and everyone just kind of stops what they're doing. Sarge survives, and we're reminded that we'll do this again next year. So it took another 2 years until we got 2016's The Purge election year, which kicks off with the murder of a family during a purge. It then jumps to 18 years later, so even if the prologue was during the first Purge, the earliest it would be 2035. We then meet the homeless guy from the first two films, now named Dante Bishop, who says that the Founding Fathers have been using the Purge to kill the poor for the past 20 years, and if he's talking about the first Purge, that would place us in 2037. We meet a politician who was a member of the family in the prologue, looking to end the Purge, and the news broadcast tells us that the Founding Fathers took power 25 years ago, and we know from the last film that that was in 2014, so that places us in 2039. So, why did Dante look exactly the same as he did in the last film? It would be 16 years later, and he looks about 2 years older. Because he is. And then the sergeant shows up, also looking the same age, and his name is Leo. Apparently, the official website for the movie used to say that this one takes place 2 years later, but that doesn't match up with any of the other dates that they've given at all, since that would place this one in 2025, and 18 years prior to that would be 2007, well before the Purges began and the Founding Fathers took office. So the only way to justify that is to assume that Leo and Dante are both 16 years older and just did some awesome skincare treatments. We meet our assortment of randos, and side note, we're about 20 years ahead of current times, and phone and TV tech is still exactly the same in Purge world, so I guess the USA is economically stable and has a low crime rate, but electronics has stopped progressing? We get the start of the Purge, announcing that for the very first time, there is no immunity, giving the Founding Fathers a way to bump off Senator Rowan, but Leo's got her covered. Chaos commences, and they meet up with the convenience store owner from earlier, and they eventually meet up with Dante. The senator eventually gets caught, and they prepare her for a big ceremony, but Leo and Dante show up to shoot the place up. Dante gets purged, while Leo takes out the military skinhead, and Joe also dies. We then jump to 2 months later as voting commences, and Rowan wins in a landslide and becomes president, swearing to end the Purge. But the news reports the Founding Fathers supporters are protesting and looting, I guess showing that the Purge was good? Because riots like that only happen once a year? I don't know. Which brings us to 2018's The First Purge, releasing now. It's set to tell the story of the very first Purge, so I guess we'll get some sort of an answer as to when it was all set and if it's the story of the first official Purge in 2018, which would be great timing, or the unofficial one in 2017. The trailer seems to show a government influence from the get-go, so we'll see where this one takes us. There's also an upcoming TV show from the Sci-Fi and USA networks. It'll reportedly feature a focus on people's lives on the other 364 days of the year, although the timeline of the series is still a mystery, although advanced info seems to insinuate that it takes place in the early days and shows how the Founding Fathers came to power, which is something that I imagine at least 3 people are interested in. So there you have it. It's 3 movies, plus a TV show and a movie about to come out. And the continuity, you know what, except for the third one with the year slippage, it makes some pretty good sense. Like, the first 2 movies have a great continuity. After that, not so much. We'll see if the first Purge and the TV series actually can hold that, if they can clear things up, if they can fix any of the errors. We'll find out. Well, that's about it for this week's video. Again, as always, I hope you enjoyed it. Please share it on social medias. Please comment and let me know what you thought of it. Ask me questions, make suggestions, all of that good stuff. Also, please don't forget to check out my Patreon page listed right over here, and also these amazing people who are my patrons right now and help support this channel and keep it going. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in another couple of weeks for another great video.